Hello, New York, New York. My name is Anthony Wall. Since leading up to the Trade Center attack, right before the attack in the context Manhattan Ninth Circuit, tied to a proven afterwards, had been post dated from inside the Ninth Circuit, shown to the panel of judges post dated documents. People associated with that are involved with further Trade Center crimes slash illusions note. Not just post dating it, and also post dating of documents, criminal uses of Connecticut courts within as the same ones, and within as federal criminal co-defendants of former director of the FBI. And there's a pattern of offensive evidence reception, identity theft roles with a whole bunch of other FBI, CIA, their family members, overt criminal enterprises, and the witness protection program used criminally together. Then they sequence it. Now they're still sequence shifting, offensively pretending not to realize by using Mueller, by using Comey narratives. These are guys recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved. A whole bunch of people associated with Wethersfield Police, New Britain Superior Court, Hartford Courts, their family members, retired and standing, long-time standing prosecutors. One's from my town, Newark, sick. You can't see that honest integrity and legal nature never and sequence and treatment nature never spoke for areas. It's not how everyone's victim predator because of the organized crime method being used here, databases. Now, see, it's true. It's a fact that if you get a lawyer, they speak about the law. It's the law. But law, if they're exploiting exceptions and exception nature, that's the law's criminal and seditious nature, criminally foreign influence still, which is recorded the problem. We have the online sensibilities and platforms. The narratives just they make jobs. You can't have those narratives without telling about how they forced that with slavery, which had nothing to do with color. Those were laws against every single person. That were slavery laws. They mixed the color in so while everyone was playing fake positive as trained, they would leave only the remembered. They self-valued, propagated divisions. This is what the divide and conquer is about way before we were divided and conquered, where George Washington won the last battle of the Revolutionary War. First, he had to meet in Wethersfield, Connecticut, with the French general. Could only semi-counter extort what had overt slavery against everyone, including his factory miniature slavery, recorded. They didn't have free speech. And we have natures that will offensively fight with quality of factory nature, perpetually only let hurt. Oh, they fought for the Constitution. So they have they have a theater, criminal and seditious nature, positive, fake care for our founders. American history is about an organized crime method that was the factory nature slavery of every single person, and in sequence, because this is a native pure. This nature of truth that is not denying sequences, not valuing them, exploited, denied, as quality of factor, as criminal seditious nature. There's a straight line of pattern of confessions from strangers, requests for help. So now they also recorded using overall allegations against people criminally, summary convictions about the integrity of people. Pretend they have integrity because they have jobs, because they're involved with the extortion method that's keeping Matt. They're also involved with a breaching crime method that stacks people speaking through others. So where integrity has any means to really treat what is causing and involved with negative value nature, progressions, acts, and natures. They're keeping everyone blaming them on other things other than themselves with reactions, not understanding the real causes of it. Because everyone's being made. This is the nature of child abuse that is simultaneously elderly abuse. You think those are means for our elderly? Think that's what we could afford? Before they say that's what they could afford. That's the time. That's the job. The food comes out at that time. This is built to keep rules with what you can't defend, and free speech at the same time you can't stand it. This is values actual course identities. All values are in demonstration of identity. All values have connection to their complete value connection, which is identity's complete slash semi slash simultaneous nature relationship to itself. One identity is simultaneously distinctly and non-distinctly the identity of forever and the identity of space, the value of it. But how it is the value of them together is in demonstration of how it is their identity, and how that identity of the relationship to itself is value to us. As what is the difference between positive quality science? The sciences share an identity. Law was long prevented free speech and self-valued as other than law that is not criminal in serious nature. They are very sick. That's not personal at all. These are people that need to pretend passions, emotions. You called us sick, criminally, to prevent mandated law. Whole bunch of courts in Connecticut on off their state judicial branch officers. I never had a personal conversation. Quick, casual, barely know him. Mike Roberts. I don't even know the name of the kid with black pigmented skin. But these are black and white interbranch actors, military, foreign, and domestic, involved with a pattern of crimes recorded with KKK theme, Confederate flag theme. Predicate acts, MPO Floyd. Black skin involved with this. With female black skin, white skin judges involved with these Confederate flag, black, Puerto Rican flag, Italian flag, Justice Department cliques, private tied to them, overt shared perform families, overt criminal enterprises, witness protection program, all with ties to my area, used criminally as victims, but as victim predators by former director of the FBI, federal criminal co-defendants of his. Whole bunch of people associated through the filter to the roles with this. Everyone speaking to other criminally. So now there's a detective Dillon, and there are other sick people with the Marines. One person reportedly dishonorably discharged from the Marines. Recorded degenerate roles with natures of identity thefts that are used to keep them criminally forward influenced. Fake patriotism natures. Especially whereas and how they do sacrifice service, because they're in the way. They're in the way for mandated law. They're keeping service. They're going to keep only realized. See, we have natures of gun crimes with the police intercities, and they have the news recorded, confessed them. They're involved with charging people after they're already doing those crimes against those people and making up the fake things. They'll make someone hurt you, harass you that you don't even know because they're involved with identity thefts. Then you go to say something, they're going to lie about your conversation with them, or the court will figure it out. The court's crimes with the child sex offenders. The court's attaching me to fake words, attaching kids to fake locations through time. They have news. They told the news to steal me to fake words, fake relationships to as an adult, as a kid to fake doctors that weren't my doctor as a kid. I swear to God, under oath, I never had any psychology doctorate as a kid. Not of the mind. They have a Leahy family, a whole bunch of doctors, forging names, switching names with various natures of courts, involve predicate acts. A whole bunch of people with a former director of the FBI down. Fake conversations with me about the CIA, about agencies, any agency. I had no conversation with this Leahy family. Now, these are a whole bunch of people in the Britain Superior Court, judges retired and standing, crimes with them with child sex offenders, with drug clicks, with untimely deaths that brought that up, confessions from strangers, connected at Trinity College with a whole bunch of federal crimes. These are crime methods using people's names, stacking fake things in databases, switching names, forging names, involving the sensibilities. Then everyone's talking. The only thing they agree about is they want privacy. Where they don't put someone on the paper. They're forging names and switching names into the branch. Connecticut is involved with further predicate acts. Now, there are other nations on off CCSU recorded and confessed crimes with a whole bunch of. So we have some kind of shared policing with Cuba and with Russians that was involved with a Joe DeMoro family, a whole bunch of people with the name Joe DeMoro, a Paula DeMoro, a Tony DeMoro, involved crimes with WFSB locations around it, all the way down Maple Street, right to where they have the shooting reported, but probably made up. Who knows? So you shouldn't play. There's the whole story about. See the story about the boy who cried wolf. Now, see, the boys and girls of WFSB and Fox Connecticut News did way worse than cry wolf. And this is way worse than just extortion with their identity theft crime acts. Torturing me, no. Harassing me, threatening me not to report recorded sex crime acts and threats against kids. Now, I don't know the names of my new and past neighbors yet. They're extended family members involved with the one that have extended family members of theirs, like a Scalora family and Phil Collo, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated further involved with the overt criminal enterprises, interbranch cliques and prison cliques, intermilitary, foreign, and domestic, facilitated the crimes on off CCSU through time, on off Trinity College. Follow the sequence shifts too, not the money. They juxtapose all motivations, natures, needs, roles, and interests. None of the things are illegal, but they justified it because the nature of child abuse of each branch of government. Each position, the nature of titles, leaders, they call it training. This is an intercampuses, on off campuses crime method, where the identity of the ground has an identity of relationship to our quality of fact human nature. That is, to the discernment of that quality, positive or negative, in relationship to an identity's actual course, the actual algorithm. What what is the determining of what is the variable? See, algebra is about variables. What we know is true always, and what we're not sure about. And we could. It's another way. See, but algebra was preserved by what helped do damage control, because it's still not healed. From ancient time, semi-ancient times, since before modern religions, that help preserve English, still obfuscated. Because we have the law obfuscated. Because we have people speaking about it that are criminally exploiting and valuing the exploitation of exceptions and of exception nature. So they don't follow mandated law. Mandated law says when someone tries to report crimes against kids, you force that allowed reported. Connecticut is involved with child sex crimes. Sex offenders on the registry, especially if made up because they're recorded involved with a whole bunch of natures of the same thing. Boxing. They're also involved with fake child sex offender maps. A whole bunch of people in ways that this is Justice Department, Washington, D.C., Trade Center, Whole bunch of they keep using Mueller's names. Oh, let the people make opinions. That's also tied to a crime method where they're having they're wasting time. Then that's not equal. Like especially on child campuses and oh, but we want to make it interesting. Make them learn. So they don't know how to learn because they're speaking pseudo-positive. Criminal seriousness nature is demonstrated that there is a recorded, sustained pseudo-care, simultaneously consciously maintained self-value. Breaching organized crime method maintained self-value. Sustained fake care, fake righteous aggression, especially on areas exploited the most. Distinctly and non-distinctly on New York City. This is by what was set up here since before our founders' births. You can't tell about our American history if you leave out the zoning laws that were involved with the fact, cheap nature slavery of our founders. You can't tell science if you don't understand the engineering of our quality of fact, cheap nature, the identity of the ground. I'll gather around as ties to our quality of fact, cheap nature. Not only as what's positive as criminal seriousness nature, or as positive as our nature without criminal foreign influences, but what's going to cause really evolution's fruits and gifts. When way alone are lifts and gifts. All else are forced to do leaves, leaf of hadiths. See, I'll tell the Wikipedia, they're good, but this is more probably exactly what the ancients would have told you leaf of hadiths stands for. Forced space nature transfer. What is nature? Nature is one complete identity's simultaneously distinct and non-distinct relationship to itself. That is the difference between all parts of space. Not a relationship to each other, but a relationship to each other through and as this is our value. See how positive as an identity. We all need water. We all need food. This is identity's course. Look up correlation. You'll see reciprocal attached to that. And see, now it's not math, but it is the value of math. It's the value of nature. See, but this is a nature of volume forced to speak through abridged identities. Modern nations, semi-ancient nations first, were built victim predator Oz, made to self-value an identity of negative value nature progression, where nature itself is demonstrating negative value nature progression acts and natures in demonstration of the loss of the original quality of human fact treatment nature, concentrated with the campus marcius, intercampus systems, but with what is off campuses as it's constant. And again, not leaving out the value of the identity of the grounds relationship to our quality of fact treatment nature. Yeah. It's not good to have people say, "Oh, you be what you want." All natures of logic that are putting value before value's course, which is identities. That's why all scientific values, they're identities of value. Identity has an identity of relationship to itself and has the value of that, which is positive or negative. So identity is to be discerned as a nature of volume. See, we have volume theory. We have things we need to say offensively obfuscated. Big Bang Theory, the obfuscating minds. Brainstorm, they're obfuscating minds. That's what they're because they have live progressions, especially for how psychology is tied into branch originally still. Punks, fake, nothing, not personal. Look around. I'll gather sound. That's true. Free at last. Quote the King, Martin Luther King. What made his speech good? Not because he's saying free at last, because he's speaking about the integrity of the law. There was no integrity of the law. Everyone's was criminal and seditious nature of positive. Fake a breaching screen. All victims are, so they don't realize. And what they only realize through needs to hide lie progressions by valuing identities of titles, identity positions originally still left criminally foreign influence by our founders to have this demonstrated with free speech. WFSB is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated through administrations crimes with people facilitated to it, but crimes with how Russians are here for a long time. For example, nothing against you Russians. You have Russians against Russians too. Your Justice Department sick with psychology too. A whole bunch of nations. Faking conversations with people, forging names, switching names. All kind of things. Boxing. Whole bunch of people associated with the Yagman family, with interbranch police, Justice Department, doctors, whole bunch of foreign and domestic doctors. People around the Samuel Dick's house there, next to the high school, next to the middle school, further with crime rolls with the child sex offenders, on off fire departments, town offices, people associated with the Dillon family. Sean Dillon also in the Marines with these sick people. You sick fake punks. Give me a response. Have them pick one name and sequence in the branch. I'll put many more people up with titles, posing it in the fake news with them. You breaching screen, fake patriotism natures. Respond for your fools. Respond for your disgraces. And hurry up too, because this is worse than extortion. And then you got the Taekwondo place associated on off the Wethersfield Police Department with all these natures of federal crimes with these people. Attaching me to fake conversations, forging names, switching names, officers. I never had a class anything to do with these Mendez police. Fake conversation me, putting it into quotes, pretending police equipment, tied to people coming breaking in my house. Oh, with child offenders. So further with the principal sex offenders campus on off New Britain Superior Court, a whole bunch of people. State's attorneys also recorded, confessed, influenced to forge names, switch names, made confessions about falsified police reports, pretended they were investigating that, and then didn't, and forced sexual abuses, medical abuses, and judicial abuses of kids still going on further with the principal sex offenders campus because they're lying about me in the background. They already did. They used the former recorded, totally recorded, former Governor Malloy involved with them with a town meeting, involved with retired and standing mayors, involved with child offenders of mixed natures. Fix the fake news. WFSB attached me to fake conversations with them. Whole bunch of lies. Because they're lie progressions because the people interbranch. Former director of the F.B.I. down. State scenarios. Gather round. Intercampus. Whole bunch of people associated with CCSU involved further with child campuses. On off them criminally through time. Not the crimes they have the right to do. Identity thefts, federal evidences crimes, mail crime methods, wire crime methods. Whole bunch of people on off Hartford Hospital locations involved with them criminally through time. So it's ironic, Joe DeMauro, that name, Justice Department, you sick punk fakes. Get the response for these Weatherfield police with these Mendez police too. Have the interbranch pick one name in sequence. They even have women judges, crimes with child offenders, preventing free speech and attaching victims and their families and little kids to fake locations through time with sick punk fakes. Just because they have titles, they're worthless. That's what's actually recorded. They make people make impressions about behavior, maybe criminally. Then what? You're gonna fight with people? We're not supposed to have. We're not supposed to moderate by algorithms other than this. Mandated laws. This. Well, I'll call the police. They lie about what's called. They're with online rape threats with the child sex offender when they were still forcing that. That's what's recorded. The Facebook page of New Britain Superior Court is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with doctors with child sex offenders, with them, with a whole bunch of natures of crimes. Sick people. Whole bunch of people on off CCSU. I feel bad for them too. They're pretending, oh, he's taking things. They need to make things up. They saw me when I was a kid. The Kyle Gill, before I ever moved there. There was already, there was sequence, follow the sequence shifts. These are people involved with a whole bunch of natures of courts with kids through time. Crime methods, each age of, especially middle schools, with the sick punks on off the middle school. A whole bunch of people with folklore, crimes with overt criminal enterprises, crimes with body dumping spots, clicks, crimes with killers, with the child sex offenders, identity thefts. A whole bunch of people at the campuses I went to of each age associated with the house in my area with them. Crimes of federal criminals associated with former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin. Now, these are people as the sources influence crime rules, uses of CNN. Why make it personal, CNN? Don't pretend it's personal. Fix the fake news in WFSB. Criminal uses of CCSU. Don't pretend it's personal. You're not letting it get the judges' names. The judges recorded with this Detective Samuda, whole bunch of people, real sick punks, foreign domestic military with child offenders. Their wives and kids are involved. Whole bunch of people with the Samuel Dick's house. What's under the ground on our hill? Is there something there? Because these are traitors. Now get me a response. And follow mandated law. Fix the fake news. It's criminal to attach people to fake conversations with your media. To tell lies. Attach kids to fake locations. Spread lies with their family members. Then make fights between family members and pretend that they don't realize that. While they're sticking them attached to sick people. Hurry up, WFSB. WFSB also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated all kinds of federal crimes of people associated with West Farms Mall. Why make it worse? Paul Zano also around the corner from them, involved. Through time, database crimes, a whole bunch of people with this folklore, with the identity thefts, crimes with the child sex offenders, further recorded and confessed crimes with male and female judges, various natures of courts, and people associated with Bob Chase, evidence crimes, rule crimes, identity theft crimes, false applied police reports crimes, real sick bad people here. Now watch. Then these people are in the back. Watch. These people have no social manners. They're also, watch how these networks, they have all a theater used to pretend things that they need to pretend because they're hiding what they know. They're preventing mandated law because of a whole bunch of things they need to hide now. So New York City, help me. We don't have to be hard. We're not going to be hurt them, but we have to force them to follow mandated law. These are trade center crimes. And with the investigators, a whole bunch of nations all gather around. They use DACA. They have a whole bunch of people associated with Hartford Hospital, with fire departments, and further with the campuses. Houses aren't off them. It's with systems somewhere originally and still. So before there was sophistication, this was sophistication because they're too stupid. Fix it now. Up, and fall. Now build the wall.